Welcome to another Press Pass preview. And Jack Ebling here with Lindsay Huddleston. Just another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday. Wow, what a night, huh?
Tough to be green today for a lot of people. And we'll get to the meat of it and Mark D'Antonio in just a minute. But you see in the backdrop here, Breslin Center and the first back-to-back losses this season for Michigan State. Penn State winning in East Lansing for just the second time in 25 visits.
Wow. To Coach Izzo's credit, he has been telling us ad nauseum that this is a very tough league, top to bottom. He talked about separation week where some teams will begin to separate, and that is this time. And this Penn State team came in, focused on getting success, and they got it.
Yeah, he said 14-6 would be pretty good. Right now, 8-4 is a little higher percentage than that, but what makes it so tough, Lindsay, is the schedule the rest of the way. 5 of the next 7 are on the road, including Saturday afternoon at Michigan, then next Tuesday night at Illinois. And Michigan State, you were thinking, okay, if it could win 2 of the 3 with Penn State and then the 2 road games, now really have to win these 2 road games. That's going to be extremely difficult. And then after that, there's a return game against Penn State. Iowa comes in here. That's not going to be a lot of fun. So Michigan State has its work cut out to try to contend for the Big Ten title. And when you start off the season ranked number 1 in the country, that tells you what expectations were, even if they were largely unfounded.
Right. I mean, I led off this portion talking about how tough the league is, but I posed a question to Coach Izzo about the potential of the team having mental fatigue. He wanted no parts of that. He didn't want to hear it. He said if Gabe Brown is sick, he has to come to practice and play. But I think it's worth noting, Jack, that that plays a role. You talk about this huge, these road games that are coming up, and if these guys aren't locked in like they need to be to do the things they need to do, you look at a potential massacre. We're not even talking about splitting. We're talking about taking a lot of losses. So I think that's something that has to be taken into account to get these guys on track of where they need to be to finish out this regular season.
Outscored in points off turnovers, 21-9. For the second straight game, Michigan State plagued by missed layups. And just got to take better care of the ball. If you don't do that, you're cruising for a bruising.
You're cruising for a bruising. One thing that we heard in that press conference that Coach Izzo finished with before, of course, he talked about the great Coach D'Antonio. He started talking about social media. He started talking about the fact that he was hearing that there may be Michigan State quote-unquote fans who are saying bad things about some of these players, and he said he'll be willing to buy their tickets.
Yeah.
He was upset about that.
Yeah. Keyboard gangsters.
Keyboard gangsters, you got it. You got a chance to put out there. He talked about that, and I thought that was interesting that all these things are coming into play. Is it time for Michigan State to be concerned?
It's always time to be concerned. But I think Michigan State fans right now need to decide whether they're going to be critics or they're going to be fans. If they're going to be fans and they're going to support the team, that's what this team needs. Otherwise, things could really go south. And you could wind up with a team that is playing on Thursday in the Big Ten tournament. It's going to be tough enough in that event to win 3 times. If you have to win 4 times to do it, that's very difficult. And there are some teams, pretty decent teams. Michigan lost again tonight at home, but Michigan have to play 5 times.
Wow. Well, I know we're going to transition soon to talk about Coach D'Antonio, but it sounds like we're making the same comments we made when we were sitting over in Spartan Stadium about this fan base, having these expectations, but not necessarily being realistic for the time.
Well, expectations have a way of spoiling you, but this is not the team that was ranked number 1. Clearly, Kyle Ahrens came back tonight, made a shot, drew a charge, did some things, gave the team a lift, but can't do that for very long. And every time he falls down, you get questions about how he's going to be. Is he going to get back up?
Right.
Cassius Winston tonight, the only double-figure scorer. 25 points, 9 assists, 6 for 7 at the line, and it was the 7th one.
Yeah.
That would have tied the game with 11 seconds to go. An and one when everyone said, how are they going to get a 3? They're too closely guarded. He went to the basket, drew the foul, made the shot. Everyone thought he would tie the game. The question was, would they then get a stop and create an overtime? Instead, He missed it. Penn State goes to the line. Mark Stevens makes 2 free throws.
Correct.
Michigan State still with a chance to come down, and Cassius told me after the game, hey, I really like the look I got. There was a little bit of a scramble, but I got a shot I normally make, and it didn't. And as a result, you get an L at home. This is the first time in Big Ten history for Penn State that they've won 5 straight league games.
Right. He talked about that.
Yeah.
So not only is the league tough, you were dealing with a tough team.
Yeah, exactly. But for Michigan State fans, basketball was supposed to be the salve. That was supposed to make you feel good, right?
Rub it in.
Mark D'Antonio, with the announcement today, meeting with the staff, meeting with the players, first that they had heard of it, began to get some scuttlebutt around noon, early afternoon, and then more people started to know, and finally it was made official shortly before the drive with Jack.
That's right.
Because we threw our show in the garbage and started over.
Do we call the announcement a shocker?
I think we did because of the timing of it.
Okay.
I was prepared for this after the season.
Sure.
And I thought after the win over Maryland would have been a good time if Mark D'Antonio was going to step down, for him to say, I want to thank everybody here. I'm going to coach the bowl game. We're going to have a winning season, which is what happened. But Michigan State is going to look for a new coach. It's going to begin this process instead of doing it the day before National Signing Day.
Right. Well, January 16th was a very important date. You had to get past that date, too.
Well, that didn't matter because Michigan State was going to give him his money anyway.
Okay.
It's not people who say, "Ooh, he just did that because he wanted to get his $4.3 million." If he had told Michigan State, "Hey, if I let you know now, I just want to," they would have given him his money. He's earned that 10 times over. When you consider what he has done,
Right.
the winningest coach in school history, the number of players he's graduated, the Big Ten championships, the Big Ten championship games, a berth in the college football playoff, the greatest decade ever against the University of Michigan, 8-2.
Wow.
You look at all of those things, Michigan State would have said, if you want to step down, if you find that it's what you need to do, you've earned this money.
They were going to honor him.
They would have honored that.
Right.
That was not his point in waiting. Trust me. And he let the administration know a couple weeks ago what he was thinking. Wasn't sure. Gave them time to start to formulate some things.
Right.
As Bill Beekman said in the pregame press conference, you always kind of have a rough idea of what you might do, plan B, plan C.
Right.
And so Michigan State was not caught off guard. Maybe the media was.
Sure.
Maybe his players thought, okay, we're past this.
Right.
Going to get ready for spring ball, winter conditioning continuing. Maybe in recruiting have an impact.
Right. He did say he talked to some recruits today, too.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with
Right.
that because a lot of recruits had come because of him.
Absolutely.
Now, he has said that he's going to be around. So,
Special projects.
yeah, I would think his first special project would be to be a liaison with the team,
Sure.
with the players.
Sure.
If the players came because of Mark D'Antonio, they can now see more of Mark D'Antonio than they would have seen otherwise.
Yeah.
They just won't have to see Ken Manny at 6 in the morning.
Well, that's right, because a lot of players, when the coach bolts or leaves for whatever reason, there's no contact.
Yeah.
In this case, it's different. Being mindful of time, you're going to have a big weekend. You want to talk about press pass too?
Now I want to talk more about Mark D'Antonio.
Okay.
That was the first time I've seen him smile, really smile,
Oh, yeah.
in months. And after he stepped off the podium and walked out, I followed Mark and Becky and shook hands with them and said he's going to come on the show.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but he said, it's time.